The energy war, the news of the surrender of a Chinese submarine and the closure of the Malacca Strait hit the global markets like a meteor. In London, Brent crude spiked to $150 a barrel in minutes. In Beijing, the lights stayed on. But the panic began. The strategic reserves would last 60 days. After that, the factories would stop, the trucks would stop, and the party's promise of eternal prosperity would evaporate. On the Vikrant, Commodore Rocky watched the sun rise over the smoking horizon. The blockade was absolute. The string of pearls, China's strategy of encircling India with naval bases, had been cut. Message from Naval HQ. The comms officer handed him a data pad. Rocky read it. Good hunting, but brace yourself. The Empire will strike back. Intelligence indicates the PLAAF is moving H-6K bombers to Myanmar. They are coming for the carrier. Rocky crumpled the paper. Let them come. We own the water. The diplomatic fallout. In Washington, D.C., the Situation Room was chaotic. The blockage of Malacca was a nightmare for the U.S. economy as well, disrupting supply chains for electronics and pharmaceuticals. The Indians have actually done it, the National Security Advisor muttered, looking at the satellite feed of the stopped tankers. They've choked the Dragon. We have to intervene, the Secretary of State argued. Freedom of navigation. Intervene how? The President asked. Shoot at the Indians? They are a Quad partner, and technically they are responding to an invasion of their territory. If we break the blockade, we hand Asia to China. If we support it, we crash the global economy. The President rubbed his temples. Call New Delhi. Tell them they have 48 hours to finish this before the UN mandates a ceasefire, and move the 7th Fleet to the Bay of Bengal, just to watch. The human cost back in the strait, the sun beat down on the deck of the Vikrant. In the sick bay, a young sailor named Arjun was being treated for a concussion sustained during the torpedo evasion maneuver. He looked at the nurse. Did we get them? We got them. She smiled tiredly. Arjun closed his eyes. He didn't know about the oil prices or the geopolitics. He only knew that the monster beneath the bed, the silent, invisible threat that had haunted every sailor's nightmares, had been dragged into the light. But as the Vikrant turned into the wind to launch a combat air patrol, the radar picked up a new contact. High altitude, Mach 2, inbound from the east. The war at sea wasn't over. It was just changing levels. Strategic note. This chapter illustrates the concept of horizontal escalation. India, unable to match China's infrastructure advantage in the Himalayas, vertical escalation, chooses to expand the conflict to the maritime domain where it holds a geographic advantage, horizontal escalation. The Malacca Dilemma remains China's greatest strategic vulnerability in a prolonged conflict. The use of the P-8D Neptune and the indigenous Vikrant highlights the modernization of the Indian Navy, while the submarine duel showcases the treacherous nature of littoral warfare in shallow, congested waters.